The term recluse gets thrown around pretty easily these days. Agoraphobia and social anxiety are known conditions that are very serious. But how can a series make light of such situations and social problems? Make it a black comedy, of course. Enter the anime Watamote, or Watashi ga motenai no wado kange temo omairu ga warui. Or, no matter how I look at it, it's you guys' fault I'm not popular. What's up, guys? It's Miasmo from Gyre Media here, and with another anime review. Today, we're obviously talking about the aforementioned Watamote. Now, our story here follows Tomoko Kuroki, a high school freshman who has dreams of being a big popular girl in her new school. She wants to be the girl that the boys all drool over and the girls envy. She wants to be adored and respected. There's one big problem here, though. She has crazy OP social anxiety. She can't even hold conversations with strangers and has a tendency to obsess over anime and video games and worry about minute details about other people's judgments of her. Now, every episode of this series chronicles Tomoko's recluse lifestyle while she tries and miserably fails to become popular. The show summarizes itself at the start, in episode 1, by literally saying that it's about a girl whose story really doesn't matter. And as such, some I think will hate this show. I could see that something that is so episodic and trivial can be boring at times, because even for me it was boring at sometimes, and I found myself, wanting the plot to progress a little bit. But nonetheless, I adored this show. On a personal level, I empathize with Tomoko greatly. I did not have dreams of being a popular girl in high school. Surprise. But I was always the oddball in school. And it wasn't until late high school, I'd say early college, in which I was able to make real friends, I would say. This series holds true catharsis for me, especially in one particular episode where Tomoko is forced to eat outside alone, as I had a kind of similar experience in high school. Relatability aside, Tomoko, though, is nuts. She's insane. She's intentionally the absolute personification of how bad social anxiety can be, and how the otaku gaming lifestyle is sort of like an escape from reality. Any progression that she really makes within the series is minimal. Don't expect going in after episode 1 that, episode 12 is going to be way better, because her situation is minimally better at best, which makes the show kind of repetitive in a way. Her best qualities are that she's very determined. She is always sort of looking forward. She actually says several times that you can't focus on the past, you gotta focus on what's down the road. And I really like that about her. Another thing that I really liked is her relationship with her younger brother, Tomoki. The names are really like one letter off. She has a younger brother, Tomoki, who is far more normal than she is. He's like a jock. He's kind of like a soccer player, and he has like tons of friends, and he's relatively normal, as it were, much more normal comparative to his sister. And she kind of bugs him all the time. She's always going in his room and having these trying to have these deep conversations that he's not part of. He just wants her to get out of the room. But she really relies on him, and deep down he really loves her. And I would say that her brother is probably her closest friend, and I'm very close with one of my siblings, so I can relate to that as well. The show, in terms of animation, was done fairly well. It's by a studio called Silverlink. It has drops here and there where it gets kind of inconsistent, but it has a pretty unique visual style. A lot of the time, the camera movements are stuff that I hadn't really seen before. Like, a lot of the times, the camera will be outside of a classroom door, and there'll be the signs, and it'll pivot around the signs, so that way you could say oh, this is the nurse's office or whatever. And it was a cool thing, that kept you paying attention a little bit, instead of just having the camera pan over the sign or whatever. Just a little touch, something that I enjoyed. Another thing that I really liked was how they animated kind of background characters, and particularly when Tomoko, the main character, is around. Because she has such social anxiety, I highly doubt that she would have any will to really look people directly in the eyes. And the show kind of shows you that, because a lot of the people aren't even drawn with like detailed faces. And because Tomoko wouldn't really be looking at them, and the story's kind of told from her perspective. And even Tomoko, when she's, trying to hide in public, she becomes like all gray and stuff like that. I like that as well. Just kind of trying to stay out of the picture. Like, she's got no color on her. And I don't know. I found those subtle touches to be pretty good by Silverlink. The dub was okay. This is my second time watching this series. The first time I ever watched it was in sub, and I thought that the Japanese voice actress for Tomoko did a very good job. Monica Rial, who has done a bunch of voice work, does the English version of Tomoko, and she did a pretty good job. There are some points where her voice kind of got like way too high pitched and a little annoying for me. But I mean, I don't know how else you would really do the character, so I can't knock it too much for that. I would probably go sub over dub in this one, but they're both pretty good. It's not a bad dub at all. I also really like the performance of, I don't know the actor's name off the top of my head actually, but the brother, Tomoki. His English voice actor I think was a little better than the Japanese voice actor. Kind of just switch around what I just said for the main character. So, either way, either audio track, I think you're going to be alright. But be warned going into this show. It doesn't go very far in terms of plot. It's very short. It's only 12 episodes. And it kind of, there's a status quo at the beginning that's still kind of true at the end. And it's not the typical story of progression. But that's not really the point of this show, and I don't think it's the point that the mangaka was originally trying to create with his or her work. I don't know. The mangaka's name is Nico Tanigawa, I believe, and I couldn't find out if it was a guy or a girl. I'm not sure. But but it's not the progression isn't really the point of this, I don't think. It's really a black comedy about real problems that exist in society. And, just kind of amped up to like the 10th degree with our main character. And the story doesn't really cover the whole manga from what I've read, so I've already started buying some volumes of the manga if you checked out my Anime Boston video, because I really want to know how this continues, because at the end of the day I'm really rooting for Tomoko. I'm laughing at, when she fails miserably at what she's trying to do, but at the end of the day I want her to, become somewhat popular, at least make some friends, or at least be happy with herself. I think that should be her big goal. There are some characters that were like kind of only touched upon in the series because it was so short. One is Yu-chan, who is Tomoko's best and really only friend from middle school. And back in the day of middle school, they were both like the nerdy kind of kids, probably like ate just to themselves and stuff like that. But they go to different high schools as they tested differently on their entrance exams. And it turns out that in her new school, Yu-chan became pretty popular, and she's actually really pretty now, and she has a boyfriend, and her life is completely different than Tomoko's. And it just adds a lot of the comedy because Tomoko's trying to lie to her constantly to try and look relatively normal. I just wish that she was in the anime a little bit more. She comes around here and there, but when she was around, the show was a lot funnier. Another person that I really liked that was mentioned before was Tomoki, the brother. Just because they have a lot of funny scenes between those two and a lot of heartwarming scenes. Because, she does really rely on her brother, even though he looks at her like a pest. I just wish he was around more. For many people out there, I'd say just try one episode of Watamote. I can't say it's a must-watch for anybody, and I can't say it's a must-buy, because I feel like a good portion of people are going to hate this. But I think that there's a select niche of people out there that, like myself, that are going to really, really like this. You could stream it for free on Crunchyroll. You check out at least an episode there. I think after episode 1, you're going to know if this series is for you or not. It's one of those kind of shows. Just try it as an experiment, and then you can decide if you want to drop it. I know a lot of people get split. The show gets a lot of split of love and hate on the internet and stuff, and I connect with the series immensely, so I had to buy it. And, you know, I don't think it's something that I'll, like, rewatch a ton of times. I've watched it twice, and I don't think I'll be able to watch it for a little while. Took a break, because it is a little bit of a chore to watch at times. But at the same time, it is hilarious, and it is very relatable. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought of Watamote. Did you love it? Did you hate it? And, you know, if you tried my experiment, just one episode, please come back to this video and, you know, leave a comment down below and let me know how it went. But yeah, guys, as always, this is Miasma from Gyre Media, signing out.